How's it going, guys? Conninja back again, this time for week 3 of the PGL. We are facing Coach Toy Specs and the Orlando Magic. Again, a very famous coach of the NPA, the second biggest league behind the GBA. So he's a very good battler. So we got a big wall in the way that we have to surpass. So it's time. What we're bringing here is we're bringing King DDD, Mullen Rogue, I Am Grok, Raw, Budweiser, and Kakashi. Now, what kind of sets we got going on? We got a leftover set with Ice Beam, Scald, Side Shock, and Slack Off. Kakashi with a Choice Spec set, Bug Buzz, HP Ice, Sludge Bomb, and U-Turn. Sludge Bomb is for the Whimsicott, being able to ensure a KO on that mon. And then HP Ice is... what was HP Ice for? Don't remember. Either way, it wasn't relevant in terms of this. But Sludge Bomb was also helpful to hit Regirock neutrally and anything else that resisted Bug Buzz. We got Budweiser with the same set as last time. Chesto Berry, Rest, Stealth Rock, EQ, and Rock Slide. We got Mullen Rogue, Wish Protect, Moonblast, and HP Fire. HP Fire for Whimsicott, because that was the only thing that resisted Fairy types. He didn't have any sort of Steel type, and he didn't have any sort of Fire type. So that was very nice to where all we needed was HP Fire to hit Whimsicott. Now we got I Am Grok with an AV set, Bullet Punch for priority, Ice Punch, Rain Punch, and Fire Punch. Ice Punch or Fire Punch for Whimsicott there. You also have Fire Punch for, I don't remember, either way, irrelevant to the rest of the team. Drain Punch hits everything else very cleanly. We got, last but not least, Raw with the Electrium Z, Hyper Voice, T-Bolt, HP Ice, and Volt Switch. So Hyper Voice, honestly, was something I just wanted to be able to hit anything neutral. So actually, specifically for Raichu, because I can hit that thing neutrally very hard, because it does get that Lightning Rod ability, which makes it immune to electric type moves, aka basically a ground type. So Hyper Voice was my best option, because I did need HP Ice for, he had something else that resisted electric, and I can't remember what it is. Whimsicott. HP Ice was for Whimsicott, so I needed Hyper Voice just to hit Raichu neutrally there. But let's go ahead and let's dive into this battle. Let me just double check something here. Cool. But let's go ahead and dive into this battle. So what kind of music we got going on? Yeah, we got Team Skull, bro. Alright. But we go ahead and he starts off with Vaporeon, predicting me possibly to start out with Mudsdale, which I do not. I start out with Hitmonchan, predicting him to start out with Regirock. So we're at a decent kind of, like, he could Scald me and burn me, which would be a problem. But I go ahead and switch out Grok because I did not want to get Scalded. I go into Raw, thinking he might be Scalding here for the burn, and no, I can take it. So he goes for the Toxic, which is also a decent play here. So he goes for the Toxic. And so right now, all we see on Vaporeon is he has Toxic. So we get Poison on Raw, which is not a big deal. Raw is not a bulky mon that I have to worry about being broken down. It's not going to be taking hits for days. I'm not really worried. So he goes ahead and switches into Raichu. Now, I predict this, I believe, going into... yeah, here we go. Here's it playing. Hyper Voice. Watch this damage. Bam. Now, unfortunately, Raichu does outspeed me by 1, if I'm not mistaken, which really sucks. As you can see, he outspeeds me. So he goes for the Volt Switch, possibly predicting me to switch out. Who knows? But as you can see, I didn't switch out, so I believe he goes Regirock here. Possibly predicting me to go for a Hyper Voice again, which I do. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not worried. I didn't think he would go max speed, but he does. So I'm like, it's okay. We're Toxic here. It's whatever. I could go for the Electrum Z, but I still need this thing for Vaporeon, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out into Hitmonchan. Because I know I can take any sort of rock or ground type move from this thing decently well. But he goes for the Rock Polish, which is kind of scary. Boosting this thing's speed by 2, which is super scary. So I'm like, shoot, I'm just going to have to go for the Drain Punch here. And hope for the best and get health back. Well, obviously you can outspeed, and he goes for the Drain Punch, which is super neat. So he's got Drain Punch and Rock Polish. So Drain Punch allows him to get some sort of recovery. Now I see it does a decent 2-hit. It's a 2-hit KO right here, depending on the recovery he gets. But I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and keep recovering here. He has Weakness Policy, which is super scary. It gets +2 in attack and special attack, or +1. Can't really remember. So he goes for the Drain Punch again. I know I can live it. it does a lot of damage, which is super unfortunate. And look how much health he gets back because of it. So Drainage Punch, I know is going to do a lot, but I know it's not going to do enough because of that recovery. Now, we're at a point where I don't know if Bullet Punch kills here. So I'm like, shoot, does Bullet Punch kill? And I was doing all these calcs here. Well, I believe it was a roll depending on his investment. But as you can see, Bullet Punch kills. Hitmonchan does his job. Great job, Hitmonchan. I don't know how much of a roll it was, but it was a decent roll to where it was kind of scary, and I didn't know if I wanted to risk it. But it works out in our favor. So he goes Whimsicott. I know I can Bullet Punch here without a problem, but I'm just going to go ahead and switch out. I believe I still need this thing just for Whimsicott if I need to Bullet Punch it. Just have priority if he's a Tailwind set. But he's Cotton Guard, which is kind of scary. It boosts his defense, so Bullet Punch wouldn't have done jack diddly squat. But we go to Romantice because I know I can take any hit from this thing. He goes for the sub. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep hitting this thing. I didn't realize he would go sub. I just want to be able to hit this thing and whittle it down. That way, Kakashi can sort of clean with a Bug Buzz. But, sub fades. So, the calc shows, based off his investment, as you'll see this next Moonblast here, this is where he goes for the Leech Seed. Just trying to get recovery here. But he's a sub Leech Seed Cotton Guard set, and then more than likely Moonblast, from what I can see. But we go for the Moonblast, and watch this damage. Based off of the calc, I barely was able to break down that sub. So that was kind of scary. If I would not have been able to break that sub, Whimsicott very well could have swept from there. So that could have been a problem. But he goes to go ahead. He goes for the Moonblast. We know his entire move slot. That doesn't do squat. So I'm not worried about this thing. Obviously, Leech Seed allows us to get health back. But we're whittling this thing down pretty well. Obviously, get leftover recovery. And it gets Leech Seed recovery, which is a problem. But I'm not worried. I know I can take any sort of Moonblast. It's just a matter of being able to whittle this thing down and allowing Kakashi to be able to sweep. That's all I need. Now, at this point, I know I can take a Moonblast from Excelgor, because I believe Bug actually does resist Fairy, if I'm not mistaken. One of those little niche things, which is pretty cool. Or is it Fairy resist Bug? Okay, so it's Fairy resist Bug. Either way, interesting stuff. Now, Bug Buzz doesn't necessarily kill here. So I'm like, okay, let's just go Sludge Bomb. Because Sludge Bomb guarantees the kill. I think he was going... It took a long turn, and so he's thinking about what he wanted to do. He didn't know if I had Sludge Bomb, that kind of thing. But Sludge Bomb annihilates that thing. So then he goes Vaporeon. Now, Vaporeon, I don't know its moveset. I know it has Toxic. But again, Heliolisk is the cleanest switch in here. Because really, all he can do to me is possibly an Ice Beam or a Hidden Power. But he goes ahead and withdraws, predicting me to switch out, and he goes Raichu. So I'm like, crap, I'm going to have to switch out again, because I need this thing for Vaporeon. So I'm going to just go ahead and switch out again. I can't risk losing Heliolisk. I'm just going to go ahead and have to go Mudsdale here, predicting a possible electric move. He could very well go HP Ice. He goes for T-Bolt. We predict that right. Now I'm thinking I could easily live 2 HP Ices, not even realizing it gets Grass Knot. And watch this damage. Yikes. So I made the prediction going into Budweiser, believing I could live 2 HP Ices easily, not realizing this thing gets Grass Knot in its coverage. So luckily we lived that, and we were able to kill Raichu here, which allows Heliolisk to go for a clean Electrium Z with no issues whatsoever. Now, he goes this Snow Cone thing here. Now, I believe this thing, I already believe this thing was going to be either Choice Specs or Choice Scarf. So it's a matter of making calcs and calcing its speed. So he goes for the Freeze Dry, predicting me obviously to go into Slowking possibly, but we go ahead and we lose Mudsdale. I wasn't worried. I know it can hit any sort of Blizzard no matter what. So I'm going to go Hitmonchan here, knowing that I can live any hit. I can Bullet Punch if I want to. But because of the AB set, whether it was Specs or not, I knew I could live a hit. That's the thing. Specs, Freeze Dry, I could live the hit. Specs Blizzard, I could not. But Specs Freeze Dry, I could. So I believe this thing was going to be choiced anyways. And it was. But not what I believed. I knew I could live a Scarf Blizzard. And I could live a Specs Freeze Dry. So no matter what, I knew I could live at that situation. I'm like, I'm going to go... Get a Drain Punch, get recovery back from him, not realizing I'm AV, who knows. But he goes Vaporeon here. Again, I'm just going to go clean into Heliolisk, because I believe this... At this point, I'm wondering if this thing can't touch me. Scald, and it goes for Rain Dance. So I'm like, okay, Rain Dance, Toxic, no matter what, it's going to have Scald. What's its other move? At this point, I'm like, I don't think this thing can touch Heliolisk. I really don't. So this one I'm like, okay, cool. Get our dry skin health back. It has hydration as well. And this one I'm okay. We're just going to go for the Electrium Z. If he wants to switch out, go right ahead. But I'm not scared. I need to be able to kill this thing immediately, get rid of it. And then I go for the Electrium Z here. And we are able to kill this thing, which is awesome. I talked to Specs after the fact. He ended up having, I believe, Protect. Which means he literally could not touch Heliolisk. Because dry skin obviously makes myself immune to water-type moves. And that's what I predicted. That's what I figured was that Vaporeon literally could not touch Heliolisk. And Heliolisk could have swept if Heliolisk wasn't... Vaporeon could have swept if Heliolisk wasn't on the field. So I'm like, okay, thank goodness we got rid of this thing. So this is where he goes Vanillux. And I'm like, okay, I think this thing might be Scarfed. If it's Scarfed, oh well, Heliolisk dies. And I know no matter what, Hitmonchan can live a Blizzard. I can hit, Drain Punch this thing. And if Drain Punch does an OHKO, Bullet Punch will. So I'm like, okay, I'm not worried. This way I can just go ahead. We're up 5-2 right now. He goes for the Blizzard. And we know it's Scarf now because it outspeeded Heliolisk. So it's not Specs, which means Hitmonchan can live a Blizzard, which means I can freely go for a Drain Punch here, whether it OHKOs or not, be able to get Recovery, and then Bullet Punch from there. So he goes for the Blizzard. As you'll see, we can live it as long as there's no Freeze or Crit. We live it. There was the Crit, though, and we still live the Crit, which is crazy. That shows how much bulk and AB is super nice on that Hitmonchan there. But we completely annihilate this thing. We're going to get insane recovery back. But that crit, I'm going to be honest, really hurt in the long run. Because at this point, Hitmonchan could kill what's-his-face at this point. But at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? It can go for the Bolt Seed. Very well could. We're just going to go for the Bullet Punch, be able to hit this thing. I know Bullet Punch will do enough to where it'll kill Hitmonchan. And then Kakashi can go ahead and OHKO with a Bug Buzz, and we win. So it's a GG, true choice Specs there. We end up getting the 3-0 victory, which is super awesome. Because Specs Kakashi is super awesome. I outsped both Chinchino and Whimsicott by 1, so I could still have some HP investment, blah, blah, blah. But Bug Buzz kills. And we win 3-0, so we're now 1-2 in PGL, which is awesome stuff. Great battle to Choice Specs. Definitely go check him out. Link is in the description below. Awesome coach. Again, great battle. He's in the MPA and all that jazz. But great dude. Great dude altogether. But we're now 1-2. Awesome stuff. Cheer for your Los Angeles Wimpodgers. And we face Coach Sin and the Toronto Tyrantrum, newer coach to the Draft League format. So be excited for that. He's got a very scary rain team that I'm going to have to deal with and have to be able to prep for. But cool stuff. But I'll see you guys for next Sunday, all right? And I'll see you later. Peace.